Hello folks, welcome to the channel and welcome to a rather crowded man cave. So what have we got for you today? Well, today we've got a first ride review on this. It's the new for 2025 Yamaha Tracer 9 GT, and it's kindly been lent to me for a couple of days by my local Yamaha dealer INMOTION, courtesy of their manager Danny. So a big thank you to INMOTION and Danny for allowing me to have the bike for a weekend. So what we're going to do is do a bit of a daytime ride, and then because this bike has got a world's first on any motorcycle, i.e. this matrix lighting system at the front, we're going to take it out of a night time and just see how good the lights perform. But before we do any of that, I think it's time to roll the intro. Welcome back folks, so this is Yamaha's Tracer 9 GT, and the first question is, it's billed as a sports tourer, so is it sporty? I've got to say the answer to that is a definite yes. And is it toury? And I have to say the answer to that is also a definite yes. So let's jump straight into it. So Yamaha bill this as their middleweight sports tourer. From a sporting point of view then, we've got the really good Yamaha CP3 engine. That's 890cc, 119 PSs of power at 10,000 revs. I think that's about 117 HP, and then that will give you 93 Newton meters of torque from the lovely creamy smooth engine. The touring bit, 19 litre tank, and looking at the official figures, if you've got one of these folks, please put some comments in the comment section down below. 19 litre tank, then that will give you something in the region of 237 miles. And then when you get down to 3.7 litres from the 19 litre tank, a little orange light will come on saying you need some fuel, and that means you'll have about 46 miles to go before you have to get off and push it or phone for assistance. So certainly this 2025 GT can hustle, and I would suspect that it will hustle with some bigger sports bikes, or even some of the 600cc sports bikes, because it at 231 kilos wet, I think that's all the oils and full of fuel. And this is the Y-AMT version, so it's got no clutch, it does it all automatically, and then you've got the flappy paddle bits on the left hand side there. We'll talk about that shortly. So with the Y-AMT, that's the Yamaha automated manual transmission, so you don't do anything. Yeah, 231 kilos. That adds about 4 kilos, I think, to the non-Y-AMT, but man, that goes. And I'm in drive mode. We'll talk about more of the modes a little bit later, but from a sports touring point of view, it is flickable, it goes, and you can tour on it easily, and it feels really light, actually, certainly lighter than the BMW R1250 GS that I'm on, but it is definitely sporty. That is way sportier than my BMW R1250 GS, and I've got to say, yeah, it's more fun, very engaging. Yeah, it's an engaging ride, does handle really well. So I think, yep, Yamaha have certainly nailed the sports toury bit. And when you're not doing the sporty bit, because you'll do a lot of sporty bits on this thing, you can just take it easy, ride slowly, take in the scenery, yeah, and enjoy the ride on the GT. It's very nice. Performance wise, I really don't think you're going to have too much to complain about with the performance coming from the CP3 engine. I think it's got enough to bring a smile to your face. Not sure about two-up riding, so if you've got one of these, then make some comments down below. Certainly as a singleton, the lovely howl, that lovely howl from the inline 3-cylinder is just very addictive, and For me, torque wise, as a single rider, more than enough torque. Vibration wise, yeah, not too bad at all actually. You can feel a little bit, but I don't think it's going to cause you too much annoyance for long days in the saddle. And then you get to about 5,000 revs and then it gets going and it just makes that glorious howl. It really does. Now, is it going to be enough for you as, I don't know, somebody that's used to sports bikes and you want to do a bit more touring? Is it going to be enough to pull you away from the lure of the 1000cc sports tourers, i.e. the Suzuki, the Kawasaki? I'm not sure, but I've got to say that I'm mightily impressed with this machine. Very smooth, and for me, yeah, okay, you've got to wind it a little bit, but I think it's got more than enough. I'm not sure what the top speed is, totally irrelevant these days, but okay, you might have to work the gearbox a little bit if there's two of you on the machine, but as a singleton, I think you're going to have a lot of fun on this. I really think you'll be surprised if you take one of these out and just see how much performance you get from 119 PS. Personally, I think it's more than enough, certainly if you're on your own and not two up. There is a lot of electronic faffery on the Yamaha Tracer 9. If we had to do a video of what electronic stuff is on there and how you access it through the settings and all that kind of stuff, well, it would take at least an hour. So we're going to keep this very simple. First off then, get on the bike, and if you're going for a test ride and the bike doesn't turn on, obviously this is the 9 GT, so it's the mid entry machine, and it's got what they call a smart key, so it's a keyless ride for want of a better word. So you've got a smart key. Sometimes if you've accidentally pressed it, you can actually deactivate the key. So what you want to do is just make sure that the key is active. And how do we do that? Well, if you press the on off button, then what will happen is a long red light flash will mean that it's off. A short one means that it's on. On has got less letters than off, so short and long. So there we go. So we're looking for a short flash, so we've got a short red flash. That means the key is active, and it means that this key is talking to the receiver, which is down by my left thigh. So hopefully we can turn the bike on, start it, and be on our way. So if you go out for a test ride and nothing switches on, just make sure that the key is actually active. This is the 9 GT. And it's got that smart key, which means don't have to put the key in the ignition. And for the fuel filler cap, there's no key to put in here, and it just means that when you turn the bike off, this can be unlocked within a 2-minute window. So that's pretty much that covered. And this bike has got the Y-AMT on it, and if you don't spec it on here, then you save yourselves £1,000. So it's got the Y-AMT. If you didn't know what that is, basically it is Yamaha's automated manual transmission system. So rather than your hand do the clutch and your foot do the gear shift, you have an actuator down here moving the clutch, and then you have an actuator down here behind the guard is actually moving the gear shift, but there is no gear pedal. So that is Yamaha's automated manual transmission, and it is a little bit clunky. It sounds awful at times. It is a bit clunky, but hopefully the engineers have had a look at it, and there's nothing untoward being done to the 6-speed gearbox. So how do we operate it? Well, basically on the right hand side we have the switches for either relaxed riding, which is basically the automatic version, or drive version. There's 2 modes to the drive version. There's the D mode and the D plus mode. D plus mode means it's just a little bit sporty, but it's basically just a big scooter. You twist the throttle and it changes gears automatically. So that is on the right hand side. And how do we change D mode to D plus mode? Surprisingly, there's a mode button down here which you press and it cycles between D and D plus and back again. Very simple. So on the left hand side we have the manual part, which would be your foot changing the gear. This time it's your fingers changing the gear, and we have a plus and a minus switch gear down here, and that's how you change gear, and that's on the manual side. Well, how do we go from drive side to manual side, from scooter to having a bit of fun and doing it ourselves. You have automatic and manual, so just flick the switch here and then it will go from drive side to manual side, and then you just use the plus and the minus to go up and down the gearbox, and you'll hear some clunking down from beneath you. So that basically in a nutshell is Yamaha's automated manual transmission. But if you're in manual mode, say you leave it in 4th gear and you come to a yellow line and you slow down, the bike knows you're going to stall it if you're in 4th gear, so the bike will automatically change down the gearbox for you, so there is no chance of you stalling the bike. So the brain is looking after you. Now there is a lot of electronic stuffery within the system, and what we need to do firstly is turn it on. So there is no key to put in because we've got the smart key down here. Turn the knob and the system will come into life. Tracer, there's the screen. First off, it's going to be a long video if we go do a deep dive. This is a very light dive into what the system has got. So what we can do is actually change the theme of the screen. So we have 3 themes, or three screens. So what we need to do is just press the home button. That brings up part of a circle, and then with the joystick we can then go around and select various things, and in this case we go for the theme, and then we can just select, there's another theme, there's another theme, and back to the start. So that's the one that I like to use. The other themes have more information displayed on them, but yeah, that's the one that I like to use. So I can press the home button and then that will clear the lower part. So there you go. On the top left hand side here you can see we're in D+. I'm not sure if I press the mode button now whether, because we're not doing anything, it will go into drive mode, which is more of a softer mode. So press the D button. Oh yeah, so it does go into D mode, and then back again it will go into D+ mode. Now if I wanted to go into the manual side and do it myself on the left hand side, if I just flick the switch here, automatic mode and manual transmission, sorry, if I do that, okay, so it's now gone into street mode. So that means I'm going to be doing it myself. So on the left hand side, the manual side, you've got 5 modes of power and all the other electronic stuff that goes with it, wheelie control or lift control. So that's all built into the system. Some of it you can change as well, but it's only a light dive. So you've got street, you've got rain, you've got sport, you've got custom 1 and custom 2, and obviously street, sport and rain is the softest setting, so that's not going to give you full power. That won't give you full power because you want everything to be softer because you're in the rain. And then if you want to go have a bit of fun, then you can put it into sport mode, and then that just stiffens everything up, makes the engine more responsive, and you can have a bit more fun when you twist the throttle because it's an electronic throttle. So when you change something, street mode, rain mode, sport mode, drive plus mode, the electronic brain changes all the electronic stuffery to suit what you want selected. I hope that makes sense, but it's really easy to use. So at the moment we're in street mode, and what we can do is we're in 1st gear at the moment. Now to start the bike, either pull the brake lever in or apply the foot brake. So that's in 1st gear. Obviously if we come to a stop and turn the ignition off, walk away in 1st gear, well, it's in 1st gear and it's not going to go anywhere. So if you're parked on a hill, and let's have a look, so see if that's in 1st gear. Yeah, so there we go, that's in 1st gear, so the bike's not going to roll down the hill. And then if you wanted to put it in your garage but still wanted to be able to maneuver the bike around, then you can put it into neutral. I'm not sure if it will go into neutral whilst the engine's not running. Let's have a look. No, it won't go into neutral whilst the engine's not running, but with the engine running, just pop it into neutral, then you can turn it off, and then that way you can maneuver the bike in your garage. So these are all things in case you're going to take the bike for a test ride and you've not ridden with a automatic kind of gearbox system before. So there we go, we're in manual mode, so it says we're in street mode at the moment. Let's start the bike up, pull the brake in, press the start button, there we go, and let's start. Now if I want to go into neutral, I press the minus button on this side, There we go, I'm in neutral and I can rev it. So if I would now want to go into drive mode, so I want to let the bike take all the strain, I can go into drive mode. So I've gone into drive plus mode, we're in neutral, and then if we want to ride forward, I can select first gear. I'll just cover the brakes so we don't go too far forward. Not that we should do, in fact no, I won't put the brake on, see what happens. There we go, first gear, and you can hear that clunk. I don't know if it's going to come out on the audio, but it does make a bit of a clunk when it goes into gear. So we're in D plus mode, so it's a slightly sportier mode. And then what you can do is, again, this is if you're out on your test ride, you can just hold down the mode button on here, and then on the bottom of the screen that will bring up all the electronic faffery that mode has got selected. So hold that in for a couple of seconds, and there we go. So power wise, we're on level 2, traction control, stability control, lift control, which is wheelie, brake something, and then suspension is on A2. You've got A1 or A2. A1 is firmer and A2 is not as firm, so a bit softer. So that's how you can see very quickly what electronic stuffery has been selected. And then to get rid of that, just hold the mode button in again and it disappears. So if you want to go to the manual side, just flick it across then with the switch, and you'll see we're in street mode. So if you had been in sport mode before and then gone to the automatic D mode, when you go back to the manual side, the default setting is street mode all the time. So what we can do then is press the mode button again, and then that will bring up all the electronic stuffery to do with street mode. And I think that you can change those, possibly, maybe not. I'm sure you could change them. Oh yeah, there we go. So engine braking, you can change it. And will it come across? No. So it will only let you do certain things. So street mode, it will only let me change the engine braking. So certain things it will let you change, and other things it won't let you change. Let's try another mode then. Let's try in rain mode and see if there's anything else I can change. No, it's just engine braking. And then custom 1. Yeah, so custom 1, it will let me scroll with the joystick all the way to change all those. And then that would be custom 2. Again, I can change anything I want to on there, and then go back to sport mode. So yeah, I can't change any of the presets in there. So that's how you can very quickly access the electronic stuffery that's in there. Now if you want to, let's just come out of there. So the bottom here is just information that you, the rider, can select. So I've selected, you've got 3 choices. I've just selected trip 1. I've got the odometer there, and then I've got the air temperature, but you can go into the vehicle info, go into there. No, sorry. You can go into settings, and then you can go into vehicle info, and then you can change, they call them favorites. So I've got odometer, trip or air. So let's just change favorite 2. It'll bring up a list, and let's go for average fuel consumption. So I've now ticked that. So let's go back to the home screen, and then we go air, and then it gives me average fuel consumption. So they're things that you as the rider can do. And then if you wanted to change stuff, we'll do this whilst we're not riding. So we can go into settings. This is all the electronic stuffery, the Yamaha ride mode. So you can go into there, and then you can see what each of the settings gives you. I'm not sure whether you can change them, so let's have a look. Can you change sport and power mode? Traction control? No, I don't think you can. Let me know if I've got it wrong. Street mode, power, no. Okay, so it gives you a picture as well. Let's just go back one. Let's go to custom then. We go to custom, and then yeah, we can change the power to what we want. So yeah, custom 1 you can change, custom 2 you can change all that, but the others it doesn't let you change them. And if we just scroll to the right, I think, yeah, you can change, like we saw earlier, the braking, engine braking, so you can do that. Some things will let you change and other things it won't. And if you get totally confused, you can actually, I think you can all reset and it will just take everything back to the factory. That is really all I'm going to say. Stability control, if you want to switch everything off, you want to go and pop a few wheelies, then lift control, you've got slide control, lift control, slipper clutch, back slip regulator, whatever that is. You can actually just deselect everything, all the warning lights come out on, and then you can go pop some wheelies, but when you switch the ignition off and back on again, that will default back to the safety net and all those will be ticked. So, but you can switch everything off, but I believe that the ABS will, you've got two types of ABS, standard and normal, I think it is. The lean control one, you can switch that off, but you will always have the upright control ABS, so you can never totally switch ABS off. I'm going to highlight traction control because I like the safety net. And folks, that really is everything I'm going to say about the electronic stuffery. So I am in sport mode at the moment, which means my hand is doing everything, so it is very quick. And you go down the box, and when you go down the box, it will only let you go down the box if the revs and everything else is, if the computer says yeah you can do it. If you can't do it, it won't allow you to do it. And there's a green arrow up and down marked empty, and that will say whether you are able to go up the box or down the box. So it really is clever. You've got a gear selector indicator there, and it really is a smooth gear change, I must admit. It just takes a bit of getting used to. So there we go then. So in first gear, and a bit of fun. I mean, that's so much quicker than you can do it with your foot, actually. It really is. One thing I'm not a fan of is the indicators, self-cancelling. They stay on for a long time. I don't like them. Not a fan of them, and I don't like the new switch here for the indicators. I would much prefer the old style indicator switch, but maybe that's something you get used to. The blue light that was coming on here, I think that was the gear change thing. And what we're going to do now is just go to the drive mode. So we're on the left hand side at the moment, we're going to go to the right hand side. Okay, there we go. So I'm in D+ mode, so I'm not going to do anything now, and the bike will change gear automatically. If I want to go from D+ mode, which is the sporty mode, about 7,000 revs, it just really changes tune and you get that triple howl. It's very, very addictive. And then all you do, off the throttle and then change the mode to D mode, and it's really as simple as that. If we want to go back to me doing it with my hand and the switches down here, then D throttle, select ATMT, that will then go back to street mode. That's the default mode when you go from right to left, and then just go up or down the 6-speed gearbox. A couple of times if I've wanted to change the matrix headlight, go to high beam, etc. Then if you're in manual gearbox mode, then I have accidentally hit one or the other, whichever way round it is, and that howl is great. 7,000 revs, wow, it just wants to go. And you've got a USB-C connector down here. I think that's 5 volts, so if you've got a GPS or something you want to plug in, you can plug it in there. In the compartment here on the right hand side, there is a USB-A connector for charging your phone. I only wish that they did Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. That would be really good. I'm not a fan of Garmin. Now they have Garmin on here, so this is all part of the electronic faffery stuff. So you can use your Yamaha My Ride app, I think they call it, and connect your phone to the system, and then Garmin Motorize, that's a pay-per-use app, but if you have the GT or the GT Plus, then you get a free subscription for that. I think it's about £50 normally, but I'm not a big fan of Garmin, and with that very nice 7-inch screen, it's just a shame that you didn't have the option like the Honda Africa Twin has got of using Apple's CarPlay or Android Auto. So maybe in the new bike next year, if there's a new one, they will be looking at that. But I think Yamaha missed out on that one, because you could have had a very nice Apple CarPlay screen. You can put your phone in the compartment. I've got an iPhone 14. It kind of just about fits, but I've got to take it out the case. And there's a charging lead. You supply your charging lead and you can plug it in. I had to take my iPhone 14 out of the case. And even when you go very slow speeds on this thing, you know, you want to do something with your left hand, you want to use the clutch, but you know, one-handedly, there is nothing behind me. You know, it really is hand in the air, still nothing behind me, and it's, oh, there is now. It's just very good, and it's just a very nice system, but it is a little bit clunky at lower speeds when it changes gear. But as you can see, it operates really, really nicely. It's got a great turning circle, actually, just covering the back brake. Again, I would be doing a bit of clutch work now, but covering the back brake, just dabbing that on to get a nice turn circle, and it all works well. So the whole system works really well. So I'm still in fully automatic mode, but I can override that and use the left hand to go up the box, but it is still in drive mode. And then once I finish doing that, the drive mode will take over and select the correct gear for the speed. It really is all there is to know about all the electronic stuffery and the Y-AMT. Let's talk about the handling. So we've got Bridgestone battle axe tyres, front and rear. I think they're 17 inches. And the handling, well, I think the handling is absolutely brilliant. For a sports tourer, it's certainly very sporty, it's very toury, it's very comfortable. The screen is good, but that is the optional screen. It's very nicely balanced. It steers well. It's got a very nice turning circle on it, and it's just a good place to be. This has got the electronic suspension, so it does it all for you depending on what mode you're in. But what you can do is just adjust the preload manually on the front forks and the rear, and on the rear you've got a preload adjuster on the left hand side, so you can set the preload as to your weight and whatever, but it is semi-active suspension. The brakes are really good. I'm not sure what type of calipers at the front. I did take a photo of them, so I'm going to bang that photo up here. But the brakes are very good, really good, very impressive. Very little dive on the front of the bike, and the rear, it's a Nissan unit on the back there. So handling wise, oh man, you are going to have some mucho funno on this. Touring on the motorway, no problem at all. A little bit of buffet, but very comfortable place to be. It just goes really well. I suppose one question to be asked, would I spend 1,500 quid on an exhaust system for this from the Yamaha accessories website? Absolutely not. The sound on this from this exhaust is very good. I wouldn't waste my money. I would leave the standard can on and spend 1,500 quid on a couple of nice holidays. So the sound of the bike is very nice. I wouldn't go for the optional exhaust. Throttle response, there's just a little bit of lag on the throttle when it's fully closed, just a little bit of movement, but other than that, the electronic throttle I think is very nice. The gearbox I find is just a little bit clunky, a bit agricultural in drive mode, going up and down the gearbox. I mean, you do think, oh, I hope that's not doing any damage to the gearbox, but clearly it isn't. Well, I hope it isn't. Certainly the manual changing of the gearbox seems to be a lot smoother. And up the box, yeah, I mean, you can't change it as quick as that with your foot. I've just stopped the bike, engine's running, we're facing downhill, and I've activated the hill hold. All you have to do is go into the settings, activate it, and then just pull the front brake or apply the rear brake. I just wanted to check something on my phone, but the hill hold feature is a really nice feature. Now, I believe it's only a feature that you get when you have the Y-AMT system. So if you've got the GT and you don't want the Y-AMT, then I believe that you don't get the hill hold facility, apparently. That's enough of all the electronic stuff. Why don't we just park the bike up and I'll give you a walk around the bike. So let's go and do that. Okay, let's have a look and see what's new in this year's 2025 Yamaha Tracer 9, which hit the showrooms in May of this year. So it's not a new model, it's just had a little bit of a refresh. So at the front there, we've got lighter spin forged wheels, and as we move up, we've got the very fancy matrix LED lights. Then we have an electrically operated windscreen and a rather large 7-inch TFT. And then the switchgear for this year has been revised. It's backlit, but I'm led to believe you only have the backlit switchgear if you opt for the Y-AMT version, but don't quote me on that, ask your dealer. It's got a revised bar seat and foot peg position, so it should be more comfortable for you folks out there. The seat height on the low position, that's the standard position, is now 845 millimeters. I believe that is slightly higher than last year's model, but what Yamaha say is they've narrowed the front of the seat, so, and they say here it decreases the standover distance, whatever that means, although it's slightly higher at 845 millimeters. But I'm 5'9", 32-inch leg, and I can just about flat foot the machine in the low seated position, and you can put it up to a high position, which will give you 860 millimeters of seat height. Now the engine is the same as last year's model, and it is now Euro 5 plus compliant, and you can go for the Y-AMT version, i.e. the flappy paddle automatic version. The rear subframe has been lengthened. There's nothing like a little bit of extra length for pillion and rider comfort, so lengthened by 50 millimeters or 5 centimeters, so you get a little bit more seating area for the rider and the pillion. And that really is about the differences from the 24 model to the 25 model. There are 3 versions available to you depending on how big your wallet is. So the entry-level version, the Tracer 9, is going to set you back £11,304. Comes in red or black, and for that you're going to have a 7-inch TFT, manual suspension, LED cornering lights, and there is no option for the Y-AMT version. There is no electric screen, and you do not get any luggage with the entry-level Tracer 9. Now this model here is the GT version, so that's the mid-level machine, and this is going to set you back £15,354. This colour here is ceramic ice, and you can get what they call tech black if you prefer that. Now because you're paying a bit more money, you're going to get a bit more stuff, a bit more gadgetry on it. So you're now going to have an electric screen, you're going to have electric suspension, you're going to have those really fancy matrix lights, more of those a little bit later on. This one has the Y-AMT, so if you opt for that version, then that will give you hill hold, and you're going to get backlit switchgear and unified braking, I believe. And unified braking basically means if you put the front brake on, the rear brake comes on as well. So it just distributes the braking pressure. So you've got unified braking. It's going to be keyless ride, or smart key as Yamaha call it. And you are going to get these side cases as well. Now this demo model has got the comfort seats, the pillion and the rider comfort seats, and they will set you back £190 and £157. And it also has the wider and taller screen, which I have to say is very good, and that screen will cost you 168 of your hard-earned pounds. If you opt not to have the Y-AMT, then you can take £1,000 off that 15,354, then that will cost you 14,354. But I believe if you don't have the Y-AMT bits on it, then you lose the backlit switchgear, the hill hold and the unified braking. But again, just clarify that with your dealer. Now if you want to push the boat out, open the wallet and spend loads of dosh and go for the top of the tree, i.e. the GT Plus, then as well as all this stuff I've just mentioned, you are going to get the radar bit at the front and the rear. So that's going to give you blind spot detection in the mirrors. It's going to give you adaptive cruise control. You're going to get radar braking, so if you're a bit of an idiot and you're looking around, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, somebody slows down in front of you and stops, that kind of thing, then the radar will sense that the distance is getting shorter and shorter, but you're not doing anything because you're an idiot, and then it will apply the brakes through the hydraulic unit or something like that. So you're going to get radar braking. You're also going to get TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, so that will come with this version as well. And you can only get this in the Y-AMT version. There is no option to say, I don't want that, I want the standard 6-speed gearbox, and I'll do it with my foot and my hand to operate the clutch. There is no option for that, and more of that a little bit later on. And then finally, hey Milo, finally, you're going to get a low maintenance chain. A low maintenance chain. So I think very briefly, they are the 3 options available to you to purchase the Tracer 9. Yes, the good old comfort and fit. I'm 5'9", about 176 centimeters with a 32 inside leg measurement. Now when the bike leaves the factory, it's set in the low position, which is 845 millimeters. There's a plastic adapter plate that you can insert under the seat, somewhere under there, and that will increase it by 15 mil to the high position, i.e. 860 millimeters. So when it's set at 845 millimeters in the low position, I can pretty much flat foot it, actually, as you can see here. Now you can actually change the footrest height, so you can actually increase it by, it looks about an inch actually. So if you want to adjust the position of the footrest, you can do on both sides, and you can also adjust the handlebars. I think at the top of the yokes there's 2 positions, but you may have to get your dealer to do that, so you can adjust those as well. So there's a little bit of scope for you to get the ideal riding position for yourselves. It's very easy to put on the center stand, absolutely no problems whatsoever, not much effort needed, and it's certainly very easy to move around. In relation to the seating position, I found it very comfortable. I'm just kind of an average size guy at 5'9", and nice position with the knee bend. The feet were forward of the hips, and pretty upright position actually, again, as you can see here. But I really found it an extremely comfortable machine to be on, and I also like the fact that it comes with handguards just to add to the comfort. Now some of you are interested to see what's under the seat, so let's have a very quick look. Put the key in, turn it, and remove the pillion seat. On the underside of the pillion seat you've got a basic toolkit, and in relation to space under that seat, you've got enough space for maybe a light waterproof top or a light set of waterproof bottoms. Now in relation to removing the rider seat, you just have to remove a rubber protective cap or something like that, then flick a switch, a lever, and then you can take the front seat off, and then you'll have access to the bike's fuses, and that is what's under the seat of the Tracer. Accessories, I'm just going to say go to the Yamaha website and basically fill your boots. Fit and finish, it does seem to be screwed together quite nicely. In relation to the warranty, they're going to give you 3 years, and if you want to pay £299, you can get a 4th year of warranty if that's what you want to do. Now also with the new bike will come 2 years RAC cover in the UK, and then if you want to go away on holiday to Europe, then you can pay £30 or something like that and get some European cover. Here we are then folks for the nighttime testing of the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT with the matrix light. So it's not quite full dark, another 10 or 15 minutes to go, but you know what, I thought I'd come down to the harbour where I think it looks pretty good actually, with that sky, castle in the background showing off the lights on the GT. So I think how it works is that the camera in the nose there, together with the IMU, it's kind of like an automatic high beam. So if it detects vehicles coming towards you, then it reduces the intensity, shuts down some of the lights so you don't blind the oncoming vehicles. I think that's how it works in its simplest form. So I think what we'll do is jump on the GT and go and find somewhere where there is no street lighting whatsoever. So without further ado, let's go and find somewhere dark. It's getting a little bit darker, and the nice thing coming out at night time is we can see how good the backlit switches are. Very impressed. More bikes should do that. Come on, BMW, you should have these backlit switches. They make such a difference to your riding convenience. I wish more manufacturers would do that as standard, actually, or even as an optional extra. I've actually got the heated grips on, 3 levels of heated grips, 1, 2 and 3, and you can change the amount of heat on each of those levels. So I've been testing those out as well, because although it's July, it is actually a little bit on the chilly side, so the heated grips work really well. You've got 3 themed screens, and on this screen you can't see what the heated grips are, or indeed if you've got them on. So what you can do, if we can do it when we're riding along, what you can do is just go to, hopefully, themes. There we go to themes, and then if you go to this one here, let's come out of there, go to that one there, it will tell you that we've got the heated grips on here and we've got them on maximum. So I'll just point that out to you. So you can't have the heated grips icon on all of the themed screens. The little bike icon here, we're currently on dipped beam. If I go to high beam, there you go. I don't know if you can see that. The high beam gets bigger on the little bike icon. Back to low beam, and that dips down as well. Very impressive, Yamaha. We like that. So I presume that the matrix lighting system is going to be a big selling point for the GT and the GT Plus. So the lights have to be really, really good. And from what I've seen so far, although I've not ridden them in full darkness, we're getting there very slowly, they are really good. And I like them, actually. I like them a lot. I know I've got summer gloves on, but my hands are absolutely, they're on the level with the BMW grips, actually. Yeah, they're that warm. In fact, I may have to turn them down a little bit. So as far as I'm aware, the automatic matrix headlight on high beam, where it doesn't dazzle or blind oncoming road users, it's got to be above 9 miles an hour. But I'm not an expert on the system. One thing I'm not a fan on is how long the indicators stay on for. We're just leaving the town area. These street lights will disappear and we'll go into total darkness. At the moment I'm on low beam, and I'm going to go to high beam. There we go, the blue light comes on the dashboard on the left hand side, and those lights are damn good for standard OEM lights. They are good. And go around the corner, and the cornering lights, didn't see anything working there. And I'm not sure whether the cornering lights come on just on normal high beam, or whether you have to go into high beam auto. I'm not sure. So low beam at the moment. In fact, no, the cornering lights only come on, you can see them now, only come on low beam. The cornering lights do not come on high beam. If I've got that wrong, I'll put something on the screen. You can see them lighting up the road. If I go to high beam now, there we go. That high beam is really good. Excellent. Really good. So what I'm going to do now is go to high beam auto, and you see a new icon come up on the dash on the top right there. So there we go. I'm going to hold the high low beam switch forward, and then we've got the green headlight icon and come on with an A. So this is now the camera at the front looking for vehicles coming towards us using, I believe it's infrared, I'm not sure. And if something comes towards us, it should reduce the lights in the target area, shall we call it. But there's a number of factors that can affect it and make the system not work properly. Dirt, bugs and that kind of thing. I think there's a list of 18 or something. Just make sure it's clean, I guess. Part of your weekly, daily checks. Let's wait for a car to come towards us, leave it on high beam and see what happens. But those lights are very impressive. Very impressive. Right, so there's a car coming towards me now, and there we go, the lights have actually gone down. So although we're still on high beam, the high beam auto is still active. Not sure what's going to happen now. There we go, and the car's passed us and we've gone to high beam. Yeah, that's pretty good. No doubt the system can get confused from time to time. There we go. it's dipped the lights automatically and they're back on high. Very good. I think the system has a problem if a car overtakes you. So if a car overtakes you, then I think the camera has a problem with that. So you might end up blinding the car that's overtaking you, say on the motorway. So you might just have to manually intervene. But I think that's damn good. And that, I guess, is the nighttime ride complete. And I think that was a good demonstration on how effective the matrix lighting is with the camera in the front, and it does the auto high beam and that kind of thing. Yeah, very impressive. Anyway, on to the next bit. Right, so it's doing all kinds of things. So it's trying to give me the best picture, actually, isn't it? So those lights are, yeah, doing all kinds of stuff. Poor camera's trying to work something out. I did read somewhere about if there's a reflective cone or something, that could cause the lights to do something. So with that chevron sign, maybe that's why they went a little bit strange. My thoughts then on the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT. Well, I think it's a really good bike. I love the CP3 engine. For me, it certainly has got enough power, and in relation to the Y-AMT automatic flappy paddle stuff, like I said, I give it a solid B. Depending on what you want the bike for, or you know, you might have some medical condition, or you just might be very lazy, I don't know. But yeah, have a look at the Y-AMT. It's certainly very good. Low speeds, it's fine. You know, you do have to engage the brain and get used to how the system works, but in the last 48 hours I've been riding the bike, it's pretty much been faultless. Well, it has been faultless actually. A little bit clunky, as we've mentioned, but it's a good system. Now, would I want one? I would say I would really like to have the GT, but without the Y-AMT. I don't know, it's just me. I just like to engage a bit more with the bike, with the clutch and the gear shift and all that kind of stuff, but that's just me. It's not to say it's a bad system. It's not a bad system. It's a really good system. However, I think I just prefer to do it myself, as will some other people out there. So you have a choice whether you want the bike to do it or whether you want to do it with the clutch and the gear lever. So it is a good system, but I would say for me at this moment in time, it is not for me. Other things I would like to see on the GT, well, there is a lot of heat that gets kicked up. I guess it's Euro 5 plus compliant, and the catalytic converters, I don't know if there's two under the engine or wherever, but it does get fairly warm. I'm doing 30 miles an hour now, and you can feel the warmth coming up. I would like to see a belly pan on the bike. I think it's a fairly okay looking bike, but I think it could be made to look a little bit nicer with a belly pan. That's not even an option, so I suspect maybe that they want to get as much cooling air to the engine as possible. I'm not a great fan of the indicator part of the switchgear. Everything else I love. It's very intuitive, and the cruise control works fine, although I've not showed you in here, but it's very easy to operate. Yeah, it's all good, but a couple of things they could improve on. Maybe the belly pan, and yeah, maybe to get the turn indicators to turn off slightly sooner. So the electronic screen is really easy to use, up and down. It's an excellent bit of kit, so well done Yamaha. That's a very good screen, but obviously I haven't tested the standard screen. The heated grips are really good. I think I made mention of that in the nighttime ride. As hot as, if not hotter than, the BMW screen. There we go, that's the Y-AMTA. No clutch being pulled in, just with my hand. So great. It is a good system actually, but it's just a bit clunky. So whilst we're in slow traffic making our way back to INMOTION, just a couple of other points to raise actually in relation to the entertainment on the bike. So that comes in the way of the, I think it's the My Ride app from Yamaha, and the map is courtesy of Garmin, and that is the motorized app from Garmin. So I've downloaded both of those. The phone is in the compartment on the right hand side. It is a faff to get the phone in there. It's an iPhone 14. I had to remove it from all its casing to put it in there. which is, yeah, it's just a bit of a faff, to be honest. And then just plug it in using my USB-A connector. It's all connected. I've got my Cardo Pack Talk Edge headset on, and if I want to bring up the moving map or the Garmin map, just press the home button in for a couple of seconds. There we go, on the 7-inch TFT. If I then want to access the music, just press the home button very quickly, and then that will bring up the smaller menu. And then what we can do is just scroll through, bring up the apps, select the app, and then that brings up the applications page, which will show us the let me just nip in here, which will show us the audio and the telephone. So you can go into those, bring up music, and you can make phone calls as well, and all that good stuff. So entertainment is very easy to connect to your phone, but it is a faff putting your phone in there, certainly with an iPhone 14 in a case. The comfort seats are very good. I would certainly think about investing in those if I found the original ones not to be very comfortable. And the GT and the GT Plus both come with heated grips. How do we access them? Very simply, just press the home button once, and then just with the joystick toggle through to the icon for the grip warmers, and then up and back down to power up the various levels. And I think there's 10 heat settings in each of the 3 settings on there, and they are really, really warm. In relation to the screen, just scroll through to screen, and there we go, up and down. And yeah, that is really, really good. That's the optional taller and wider screen. And I would say, if you're on the motorway in the UK or wherever, excellent screen. And at 70 miles an hour, it's very, very effective. No buffet whatsoever. And that would be kind of halfway down. So it's a very effective screen, and I'd certainly think about getting one of those if you were going to do some long distance touring or that kind of thing. So yeah, really, really impressed with that. And it seems to operate really nicely. The throttle response is very nice. It handles really well. It's got great brakes. The suspension's excellent. Really like it. And it's just a comfortable place to be. And it is a sports tourer. And you can go very fast on this machine, and you can go very slowly. And I can see over the 2 days that I've had this, the Y-AMT version, the flappy paddle, no clutch, no gear shift, I can see the benefits to it, because if you don't want to use the clutch and the gear shift, look, there we go, coming to a halt, look, it's as good as that. It's just a real good system. And especially if you have, maybe you've got some kind of medical condition, I don't know, or maybe you just can't be bothered to change gear, you just want to be relaxed totally. So I kind of get it, but for me, yeah, I think I'm a die-hard clutch and gear lever person. So that's it. I do hope you've enjoyed the review. It's maybe a little bit long, but if you're in the market for one of these, then I think you need to know much about it as possible. Those matrix lights are the best lights I've seen on any motorbike. I would say they're as good as all the Denali lights I've got on my BMW R1250 GS. They are absolutely amazing, although they did get a little bit confused as I went up towards that chevron of a night time. But yeah, really, really good set of lights. So well done Yamaha, very impressed with them. The looks of the bike, I think it's a bit Marmite-y. I think it would be a lot nicer with a belly pan on it, as we discussed, but maybe the engine just gets too warm. And folks, here I am back at INMOTION on Yamaha's Tracer 9 GT. What a great bit of kit. And there we go. So we are in first gear, we're in automatic mode on the right hand side. Let's put it into neutral in case I need to move it around. So there we go, we can move the bike around, we can rev it in neutral, it's all good, and then we can turn it off. And that has been the Yamaha 9 Tracer GT. Very nice, very nice. And it's easy to throw a leg over the 30 litre panniers. Thank you very much guys, nice machine. Go and check it out.